Welcome back, everyone, to the W Sports Podcast. We are live with our NFL Week 2 reactions. Jimothy and the best host in the business, Tubby, are back at it again. And if you missed last week's episode or yesterday's episode, make sure you've already hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode because we were up to four episodes per week moving forward. But Tubby, welcome back to the show, man.
Boy, we had some wild football today, or this week in the NFL.
Yeah, and I'm already upset at some of our fantasy predictions or my fantasy predictions. The Alan Lazard one is the one that's hurt me the most right now. What was I thinking?
Boy, I'm telling you, some of these, weren't even close on some of them.
Yeah, but today's title of the episode is going to be Q, the NFL is rigged for Kansas City because Bengals fans are going to be mad, and this will be the second week in a row where I think now I don't know what the reaction is yet from the Bengals and the press and all that kind of stuff. But I imagine that there's going to be a couple people who are upset and feeling like this is the second week in a row that the NFL has rigged the game so the Chiefs can win the game against an AFC powerhouse. Now, Tubby, I'm biased. I'm a Chiefs fan. I do think if I was a Bengals fan and the roles were reversed, I would want that to be called as a flag. But you tell me, what are we seeing?
Yeah, that was definitely pass interference. I mean,
just like the guy's foot was out of bounds. I'm just saying.
Yeah. There was really no argument. It wasn't even like it was a bang bang play. He was there way early. It was catchable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was a flag. You have to throw the flag. You can't, keep that one in your pocket because, right? Automatically puts the Chiefs in field goal range. So yeah, it definitely was a flag. Anyone that thinks it wasn't, yeah, you need to learn some more football.
You need to learn some more football. And now we're at a point where you have two teams in the AFC that have started out 0-2, the Bengals included. They lost last week to the Patriots. I think they wrote it off as a win. They already lost. And then to lose to the Chiefs, it puts them way behind the eight ball, if you will, both of these teams. And because I almost said the Buccaneers. I don't know what I'm thinking here. But the Ravens lose this week at home to the Raiders. What happened?
I don't know. It's like they fell asleep at the wheel at the end. They were cruising, and all of a sudden it was, defense kind of fell asleep, and the Raiders were able to. Gardner Minshew looked like Patrick Mahomes, number 15 out there slinging the ball at the end of the game. Yeah,
the gunslinger
couldn't stop him, and it was. I don't know. It definitely didn't look like a Ravens team that was ready to play at the end.
Yeah, the hard part is. Like, if you on paper, this is like Oregon that first week, you're like, I don't understand. Help me understand because Minshew was sacked 5 times. They only ran the ball for 27 yards. They did get a touchdown, but only 27 yards. While the Ravens ran for 150 in a score with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson combined with Justin Hill thrown in a little bit there. And they only had the one, I think it was only just the one turnover. I don't understand how they lost this game. This is a pretty bad loss.
Yeah, like I said, I caught the most of the end of the fourth quarter, and like I said, there's like 5 minutes left. They're up by 10 points or something like that, and all of a sudden it was just like, or what was it, 7 points, and then all of a sudden it was just like blink of an eye, Raiders score, and then quick 3 and out, and they just ate that clock. 2 minutes, 8 clock lined up, kick field goal, and that was it.
Yeah, well, so I mean that game. Obviously, that's tough. One of the other teams that has been a playoff contender, I will say, not a deep playoff run team, but a playoff contender has been the Dolphins over the last few years. They've been one of the darlings of the NFL, if you will. And here we are, concussion number, 4? I think
at least 3 confirmed
for Tua. And obviously, there are some athletes that are even saying, "Hey, man, you should consider hanging it up. This is too dangerous. You got more to worry about than football." But I don't think he's going to. He did last time, and those concussions looked real gnarly. I don't know. This is a Dolphins team that, if you look at it now, how concerned are you for them?
Oh, yeah, they're in trouble. If Tua is not there, that offense doesn't run the same without him. As much as, they try to act like they're behind Skylar Thompson, like, oh, yeah, he's good. Yeah. He's not Tua. He can't run that offense the same way. I mean, it's just unfortunate for them to go the way it was because honestly, out of all the hits, that's probably the they act like it was such a hard hit, and honestly, it was just like a normal football play. He just and Tua initiated most of the contact.
Yeah, Tua should have slid. He already had the
Yeah.
first down. I get, he's going at it, but I think that injury is pretty concerning for the Dolphins. How about this? The Vikings take down the 49ers, but lose Justin Jefferson to, I think, a quad injury.
Quad, yeah.
So I don't know if Vikings 2-0 just took down a Super Bowl contending team, and then you lose Justin Jefferson. How do you right the ship so quick? I mean, usually quad injuries aren't going to be back right away.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're down your top two weapons now. Jordan Addison's out for several weeks. Now you're down more than likely Justin Jefferson for several weeks. Like you said, quads are not typically an injury you can come back from quick. So yeah, they're the 2-0 run is probably going to be short lived. I know they got the Packers in a couple weeks. I don't know what they have next week, but yeah, it's not a great circumstance for them because also Hawkinson's out.
Yep, for a while.
Yeah.
Take the win while you can. 2-0, you're like, all right, we bought ourselves a little bit of extra time in an NFC that you're going to need those wins to stack up if you're going to make the playoffs. Obviously, I mean that's a redundant statement of me. But there's one team, the Cowboys. What happened?
I'm wondering the same thing.
Why are the Cowboys the Cowboys in this instance? They go against the Saints. The Saints look like I saw highlights and I was like, holy cow, is that Drew Brees back there? That's who that looks like, just tearing the defense apart.
Yeah, 40-plus points, 2 straight weeks, one. Yeah, I think probably some of us maybe expected it against the Panthers because the Panthers are the Panthers, but you're like looking at this week and Cowboys are 6.5-point favorite, and you're like, man, they might beat them by a little bit more. No, they came out there and Alvin Kamara had his way with that defense, which was insane because that's supposed to be the strength. Honestly, I'm lost for words because it's like Chris Olave didn't have a great game when he had like 5 or 6 catches, 80 yards.
4 catches, 81 yards. Yeah.
Yeah. Solid, solid numbers, nothing special. You would think, with the 44 points that Olave probably went off. No, it was Shaheed.
4 for 96 in a score. And he had 3 rushes as well for 13. So it's kind of a Deebo Samuel type game for him. It was crazy. This was reminding me a lot of the Alvin Kamara Christmas Eve game. I think it was Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
He owned the field. And we talked about this in the beginning of the year of like, hey, people are already saying Alvin Kamara. I don't want a victory lap in week 2, but people were already saying that, hey, move off of Alvin Kamara. Hey, he's old. He's washed up at this point. He's done. And here he is with a massive performance, 4 touchdowns. And Derek Carr, I say this, he carved up the defense 11-16 for 243 yards.
Yeah.
211? That's
11.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I honestly, the Cowboys were it reminding me so much of the playoff game last year against the Packers, where they just had no answer for him whatsoever. And you're like, this isn't what should be happening.
Yeah. And I think here's the problem for the Cowboys. They have Rico Dowdle, Zeke. They got nobody who can run the ball. They're so one-dimensional. I think teams are going to really, really exploit that as the season goes on. And the Cowboys are a good offensive team. They have talented weapons, so they should keep their heads above water. But I don't see this team being a dominant team throughout the year until they fix the running game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, didn't they sign Dalvin Cook? Where is he at?
Practice squad, but I think he's cooked. Sorry for the pun, but I'm pretty sure he's done.
I mean, probably, but I mean, at least give me something different because obviously I was wrong about Rico this week. I thought maybe he would pop off and maybe assert himself. But no, he basically did what he did last week, 7 for 31. Okay. At least he had a few receiving yards.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. The Jaguars lost. I know it's actually not even on the show notes, but I got to know. The Jaguars lose this week to the Browns. 18-13. This Jags team, I'm not sure they have a real identity, and Trevor Lawrence is just not. We talked about it in the offseason. You talked about it, Tubby, in the offseason about how I think he's not the guy. 14-30, 220 yards, couldn't find the end zone, sacked 4 times. And he's not even running the ball. So how concerned is this 0-2 Jaguars team to be able to turn this ship around and catch back up?
I mean, there's a lot of concern for them. Honestly, this is the 2-loss team that I would probably be the most concerned with when it comes to expectations this year. Okay. You look at their next few weeks, you got the Bills next week in Buffalo. That's going to be a tough game. Then the next week, you turn around and you get CJ Stroud and Houston Texans.
In Houston.
In Houston. And then, granted, the Colts haven't played great. They didn't play great this week. You get the Colts. I mean, division rival. You can never count those games out. There's a possibility that we're looking at this team maybe at least starting 0-4, maybe 1-4 through the first 5 weeks. That is not a recipe for a team that is going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. And Trevor Lawrence said, and I quote, "We suck right now."
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? You're not wrong. This team is not good right now. And I have a theme I'll ask you about here in a second as we get to it. But so that's the team you're probably most concerned with. What's the most surprising 2-0 team you have? The one you're like, you know what? Okay, nice.
Honestly, it's probably I want to kind of lean towards the Vikings because I didn't think anyone would expect that. I'm gonna go with the Saints just because of the way that they played. I mean, yeah, like we said earlier, we expected them to beat the Panthers and probably beat them pretty handily, but I don't think we expected them to score 46 points and then turn around the next week and score 44 points against supposedly one of the best defenses in the NFL. And I mean, just absolutely dismantled the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas after what Dallas was able to do last week to the Cleveland Browns offense. I think this team in a weaker, division, Atlanta, we haven't got to see them play this week yet, but I would imagine that's going to be a lot of what we saw last week. The Buccaneers look good, but then we know what the Panthers are. The Panthers are the worst team in the NFL. So they really have put themselves in a great position to battle for this division and at least at worst, maybe a wild card spot.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say, hey, wait, we're forgetting about one team that I think should be considered as one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. I know he had a better stat line in general with yards probably than Bryce did, but this is a bad team, and he had some good plays towards the end. 49, 27, 26-yard passes, but Bo Nix and the Broncos have no offense. Yeah. No. And this team, to me, I'm worried. They invested a middle first round pick, top half, I guess top third, in this guy, and we're very concerned that I don't know that he has the spot, and everyone's like, no, he's going to be Drew Brees, and maybe he still could be. Yeah. But I don't know that I see it, and I would look at this team. They lost to the Steelers, who are 2-0. This is Mike Tomlin-esque. 2-0, 13 points this week. I mean, didn't they have like 13 last week?
I think they had 18.
18.
And Boswell kicked 6 field goals.
Yeah, so to lose to that, I mean, you're at home. This is a bad loss, I think, for the Broncos, but yeah, absolutely. I don't know how Bryce Young gets 18 completions. Do you know how many yards he had?
What is it, 84?
84. If you look at the Chargers and Panthers box score, it looks like a college football, like Michigan versus Iowa game. This is exactly what it looks like. And Jim Harbaugh's got to be just like, let's keep going. I don't need Justin to do anything more than 20 passes. He looks like Herbert out there, or J.J. McCarthy. Loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why he didn't take J.J. He's like, I got him on the team already.
Yeah. There's going to be one week we're going to look out there, wait, is that Cade McNamara out there for okay. It's going to be something like that.
Yeah.
This is why you have to trust the way Harbaugh builds teams. He does, especially with the way the NFL is. He has a good quarterback. I don't think Herbert's a great quarterback, but he has a good quarterback, and he runs the ball 35 times between J.K. Dobbins, who's going to get hurt at some point, and Gus Edwards. 35 times for 190 yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I was Harbaugh, I'd have been yelling at Dobbins when he flipped into the end zone and be like, what are you doing? You came off back-to-back season-ending injuries on your lower half. Stop flipping into the end zone.
Yeah, it's true. And Quentin Johnson, your boy, had 2 touchdowns today. Come on.
Whoa.
So that was absolutely crazy. Here's my question. This is the big theme I have. I don't think we missed anything else yet. So to kind of end the show, I want to know, Tubby, is this the worst quarterback play as a whole that you've seen since you've been alive?
Yes.
In the league.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to rack my brain. When was the last time the NFL saw this bad of quarterback play?
Probably
the 80s?
back in
70s.
70s. Yeah, my guess would probably be closer to the 70s. Back when quarterbacks didn't really matter as much in the NFL. Yeah, you needed a solid quarterback, but it was usually you need that, bell cow running back. And if you had a really good quarterback like the Steelers did, where you had, Franco and Bradshaw, and you had some good wide receivers and really good defense, you were set. But now it's so predicated on quarterbacks in the NFL with the way teams play, which I think the Packers did exactly what they needed to do, going based off of, poor quarterback play. They ran the ball 50 some times, 60 times, the most that they've ran since like the 60s or 50s. Had 235 yards rushing in the first half because they knew, okay, we have a deficit here at quarterback with Malik Willis. And, Willis played great. He did exactly what he needed to do. But the teams are so set on, well, we got to have our quarterback. Look at the Jaguars. You sign up, Trevor Lawrence was the highest paid quarterback for about a couple of weeks there. And he hasn't performed at all. And you have a great running back. You probably have a pretty solid 1-2 if you get in there. You got Etienne. I think Bigsby could be a really solid number 2 running back, but you're not giving them the ball enough. Even last week when you were winning 17-0 over the Dolphins, you didn't hand them the ball enough. So the quarterback play in the NFL is absolutely the worst. And anyone that wants to argue that, oh no, it's not as bad, but it's better than the early 2000s, it's absolutely not. You have maybe potential wise, you have what could be, but none of these guys are reaching the potential that they should be.
Yep, 100%. The fact that Jonathan Taylor had 12 carries for 103 yards and this was a 6-point game is stupid. I don't know what the Colts were thinking. Let him run the ball. Josh Jacobs had 32 carries for $150. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah. Taylor didn't play the final 2 drives of the game when you were down by 10 points.
It's okay. Trey Sermon had 2 carries for nothing. It's okay.
That's who they had in. That's who they had in over Jonathan Taylor. Like your quarterback, granted, he threw a touchdown at the end. Anthony Richardson looked bad. And the Packers last week gave up 3 rushing touchdowns to Saquon Barkley. You should have been force-feeding him the football the whole game, and you didn't.
Yeah, it's not been good so far. Anthony Richardson, we're feeling good about taking the victory lap here. Pretty quick about that. We'll continue on. If you haven't already, guys, again, make sure you are subscribed to the show because the W Podcast is bringing it every single week with 4 episodes. So make sure you follow, you subscribe, you do all those things. And starting in October, we got giveaways. So Tubby.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait till next week, man.
I know.
Let's go.
We got some good college football coming up. I'm ready for it.
Let's go. All right. We'll see y'all next week.
See ya.